Happy Easter, everyone. You know, we had such a great time last night on Good Friday as we worshiped Jesus, thanking him for all that he's done for us on the cross. And then we baptized quite a number of people who have come to put their trust in Jesus. That never gets old. May we see many, many more baptisms in the coming year. But if that's going to happen, then let me give you an Easter challenge. I want us to set a goal for Easter 2022, something to be asking God for in the next few months. This Easter Sunday, we will be celebrating the resurrection and the great hope that we have because Jesus rose from the grave, conquering death and promising eternal life to all who will believe in him. Thank God for the hope that we have in Jesus. But what about those who are living without hope, without faith, without God? All around us, in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our workplaces and cities, there are multitudes of people who have big unanswered questions about the meaning of life. Just this past week, we had a young actor from the Seacoast Rep visit with some of our members at the church building, where he asked, how do you maintain your faith when you see such negative things going on in the world? It was such a heartfelt question. And all around us are people who have similar questions. People who are struggling with anxieties and fears. And yet Jesus came, he said, that we might not walk in darkness, but in the light of life. That we might have hope and find peace and purpose in a relationship with him. That's what he's given to us. And he's called us to share our hope with others. As followers of Jesus, we've been sent to make him known. And so this is my Easter challenge, that we all pray and ask God to show each one of us 2 or 3 people that we would be intentional about spending time with, where we would commit to regularly pray for them to come to know Jesus, and for God to use us to be a light to them. Just 2 or 3 people who don't know Jesus yet. Who might that be? Imagine if we all did that, so that in the next year, we might have the absolute privilege and joy of each seeing at least one person come to faith. That's the goal, that they would join us in celebrating Easter in 2022, where we would gather the whole church for a great celebration event. Wouldn't that be amazing? Let's ask God for that. But let's also challenge ourselves to make Jesus known. In one of my messages recently, I quoted Penn Jillette from the famous magic duo Penn and Teller. He's a self-declared atheist, and yet he famously said this about Christians. He said, "I've always said that I don't respect people who don't proselytize. I don't respect that at all." He said, if you believe that there's a heaven and a hell, and people could be going to hell or not getting eternal life, and you think that it's not really worth telling them this because it would make it socially awkward, how much do you have to hate somebody to believe that everlasting life is possible and not tell them that? Wow. But I think if we're honest, many of us do find it socially awkward, knowing how to share our faith with others. And yet we know it's important, especially when we care for people. And that is why we have decided to make the Alpha course a regular feature in the life of our church. Because all over the world, millions of people have come to faith because a friend invited them to join with him on an Alpha course. And we want to make it possible for people in our church to be able to do the same.
Having conversations about life, faith, and Jesus is hard. And this is interesting because at some point, everyone wrestles with life's big questions. Questions about hope, purpose, meaning, and love. Imagine creating a space where people in our community, our friends, neighbors, and coworkers, can come and have conversations in a way that is authentic and unforced. Where leaders don't need to have all the answers, and anyone can ask tough questions and share honestly about what they believe. That's what Alpha is all about. Alpha started in a church in London years ago with a simple idea to engage friends who might not typically go to church. lives were transformed and it began to grow all over the world. Today, you can find Alpha in schools, coffee shops, church buildings, prisons, and homes. And so far, millions of people have experienced Alpha. So what is Alpha?
What is Alpha? For those of you who may be unfamiliar, Alpha is a series of interactive sessions that explore the basics of the Christian faith. Each session tackles core questions about life and faith, where you listen to a 20-minute talk and then you discuss it in small groups, which allows people to ask questions and to share their point of view without fear of being corrected or judged. And all of this is done in a fun environment over 8 or so weeks where anyone is welcome. I can remember running an Alpha course when it first started in London almost 30 years ago. And it's been just amazing to see its success in so many different environments and cultures around the world. You know, every year now, over 1 million people attend Alpha in over 100 countries. You know, I've run many Alpha courses both in the UK and here in the States. And there is nothing more rewarding than being able to help people in their journey of faith. Seeing people make lasting friendships, and in many cases seeing lives transformed as they come to know Jesus. Some of you were involved in our Alpha course we ran at our building before COVID, when we also ran a youth Alpha. Both were a great experience, as we had lots of people who volunteered to serve or to pray or host a table of guests. Since then, Jay and Emily have also run an Alpha in their home and had the joy of baptizing Lauren. Here she is again. Isn't that great? They're planning on starting another Alpha in their home in the next few weeks or so, so do get in touch if you want to join them. Erica Cole recently started an Alpha in her home, and Gareth and Ray will soon be hosting one for the residents in one of our public housing neighbourhoods. We're also going to be promoting a brand new online Alpha that has proved to be very popular in other churches. It's going to be run by Alka and Bev. Here they are to tell you about it.
Hey everyone! We will be hosting our very first online Alpha course starting May 5th. We think it's a great opportunity to host Alpha online. Those with kids don't need a babysitter, those who don't like to drive at night or are concerned about meeting in person can tune in from the comfort of their couch. Other churches who've done Alpha online have found that people are willing to go deep much quicker in this format. So we're going to give it a try.
We'll meet for an hour on Wednesday night, starting on May 5th. This will be a safe environment where we welcome anyone to come with their doubts or questions about faith and the meaning of life. We'll send out details next week about how to register. So think about a coworker, a friend, or a neighbor who you could bring along. And we'll see you and your friends on Cinco de Mayo.
So, is there someone you could invite to join with you in what could be the greatest adventure of their lives? Whether it's an Alpha course we are running now, or one that we will host later on, whether it's in person or online, please join with me in asking God that one of the people we are committing to pray for might come to know Jesus in this next year. That's my Easter 22 challenge. Here's a video we'll be using to promote Alpha on social media that you'll be able to share with your friends. Happy Easter, everyone.
Every day we ask so many questions. What should I wear? What's the weather going to be like? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are those bigger questions, like why am I here? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this?
I had arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist.
At 28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, and I was so unhappy. It was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it.
I think for so many years, I always just strived to be strong in myself. All I needed was me and my buddies and, we'd be like invincible. But the truth is, none of us are.
And I found purpose, I found meaning, I found hope. God took something so broken and made it a beautiful art piece.
Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. You can say what you think and challenge everything. No question is too complex or too simple. And what your point of view is as important as anyone else's.
We are going on a journey together, an adventure to explore the questions of life, faith, and meaning.